A woman hired a handyman and handed him a list of 6 things to fix around the house. When she came back later that evening, she looked around and said, "Hold on, I gave you 6 tasks. You only did numbers 1, 3, and 5. What happened to the rest?" The handyman shrugged and said, "Ma'am, I told you, I only do odd jobs." Little Jimmy is getting his school bag ready for tomorrow when he hears his father say something strange from his room. Shocked and confused, Jimmy finds it hard to sleep that night. The next morning at breakfast, Jimmy keeps giving his dad nervous glances. His dad's just sitting there with a huge grin on his face. Jimmy heads to school and sits in class. During roll call, the teacher suddenly hears a loud meow from Jimmy's desk. She walks over and asks, "Jimmy, why did you bring your cat to school?" Jimmy looks up innocently and says, "Because last night my dad said I'm going to pound that kitty so hard when the boy leaves tomorrow." Mildred, Dolores, and Ethel showed up to bingo night like it was war. Someone shouted, "bingo!" But Dolores snapped, "Not so fast, honey." G47 was never called. I've been listening like a hawk on espresso. And that's when it happened. Ethel flipped a folding chair. Mildred swung her purse like a medieval flail. Someone screamed, "It's WrestleMania, Senior Edition!" They made up over cookies. But now everyone calls her Dolores the Destroyer. A gorgeous young brunette walks into a doctor's office and says, "Doctor, my whole body hurts. Everywhere I touch." The doctor looks puzzled. "That sounds unusual. Show me exactly where it hurts." She presses her finger to her wrist and screams in pain. Then her elbow screams louder. Her knee, another scream. Her ankle, same thing. She says, "See? Everywhere I touch, it hurts." The doctor pauses, looks at her, and asks, "You're not really a brunette, are you?" She blinks and says, "Well, no. I'm actually a blonde." The doctor nods and says, "I thought so. Your finger's broken." By the time I finish all that, I'm completely worn out. Who has the energy for anything else? A good laugh or even a smile to start the day. It's the best kind of workout. A Mexican man who didn't speak any English walked into a department store hoping to buy a pair of socks. He made his way to the men's section where a friendly saleswoman approached. "Quiero calcetines," he said politely. She smiled, puzzled. "Sorry, I don't speak Spanish. But take a look at our latest suits." No quiero trajes. Quiero calcetines," he said again, pointing to his feet. "Oh, maybe you'd like a nice shirt. They're on sale. No camisas, calcetines," he insisted, growing more desperate. "Well, how about pants?" "Right this way." "No pantalones. Calcetines," he said, now clearly frustrated. She gestured toward sweaters. "These just came in." "No suéter. Calcetines." Trying one more time, she pointed to undershirts. "Maybe one of these?" The man shook his head. "No camisetas. Solo calcetines." Suddenly, he spotted the sock display and lit up with joy. He grabbed a pair, held them up, and said proudly, "Eso sí que es." The saleswoman's eyes widened. "Well, why didn't you spell it out from the beginning?" A doctor, a lawyer, a little boy, and a priest were on a Sunday flight in a small private plane. Suddenly, the engine failed. The pilot rushed to the back, grabbed a parachute, and shouted, "This plane's going down! You'd all better jump!" Then he bailed out. The passengers looked around and realized there were only 3 parachutes left. The doctor grabbed one and said, "I save lives. I have to survive." And he jumped. The lawyer snatched the next one and said, "I'm a lawyer, the smartest person in the world. I deserve to live." And he jumped too. The priest turned to the little boy and said, "My child, I've lived a long life. You're young, with your whole life ahead of you. Take the last parachute." The boy smiled and said, "Relax, Father. The smartest man in the world just jumped out with my backpack." A woman goes to the doctor and says, I'm having a bit too much discharge. The doctor nods and says, "All right, slip off your undies and hop onto the bed." He puts on his latex gloves and gently slides 3 fingers in. "How does that feel?" he asks. She moans, "That feels amazing," then adds, "But the discharge is in my ear."